What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svenson, and today is November 10th, Sunday. Bitcoin traded above 80,000 today. We were above 80. Currently, we're at 79,500. The last time I made a video on this channel, Bitcoin had just crossed 75,000. So we are doing really well. If you guys remember, there were many times in past videos where I said that all you need is one good week and everything can change. And this is what we're seeing right now. This is what I meant. A lot of people thought I was crazy when I said that. Let's play the clip. Because from current prices, we are about 12% away, just 12% away from a new all-time high. To give you perspective, Bitcoin is up 5% today, and we're only 12% away from the all-time high. Things can change really fast. We could get there in a day, a week. All it takes is one good weekly candle, and we're above the all-time high. And there you have it. Bitcoin's weekly has just changed everything for this cycle and for this trend. Well, not everything. It didn't change anything for the parabola, it just made it continue. So we get continuation on the parabolic trend. You know, a lot of people did not expect 80,000. If last week you asked people what price you think Bitcoin's gonna be at on Sunday, next Sunday, and someone said 80,000, they would have been like, ha, moon boy, right? But this is what Bitcoin likes to do. When it breaks that all-time high and it starts to trend above the all-time high, many weeks to the upside usually. Does that mean Bitcoin is going to see many straight candles up? Not necessarily. We have a lot of different players. Wall Street, sophisticated money is here. Maybe they want to play around with the market a little bit, take some profits, maybe we chop and then run up again later. You know, always expect volatility. Would I be surprised to see Bitcoin form another green weekly up? No, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. But of course, I'm keeping an open mind. Obviously, you guys know that I'm very bullish on the market. We've been discussing this parabolic trend since early 2023, and it is playing out. And base 4 is the descending broadening wedge breakout target, which we've discussed many times, which is in between 91 and 94,000. That's where we would expect base 4 to be formed before running up to the peak of the parabola. It's not necessarily the peak of the cycle, it's at least the peak of this trend. This parabolic trend would peak somewhere around 124,000 according to the textbook. The middle of base 3, double, that's 62,000. Double, that's 124,000. If Bitcoin can get there by early 2025, then I think that we would probably go higher later in the cycle, to a higher level. 142,000 would be the next target for me. So if Bitcoin keeps this momentum, maybe we hit 124,000 sooner than people expect. You know, we've seen Bitcoin go really sideways in the past year, 2 years. If Bitcoin spends too much time going sideways, well, then maybe we don't hit something higher than the parabolic trend target. Maybe 124,000 is the end of cycle target. It depends on how fast we get there. So we'll see. In the short term, Bitcoin has played out a really nice week here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, with the most recent candle being a nice fat green pump going into the end of the week. If you guys are in my Patreon or my Discord, right? You can only get into my Discord by being a Patreon member. We talked about the trap liquidity short squeeze target on the weekly chart. Bitcoin's price has been going up. The bulls have had control of this market since early 2023, and the momentum has been up since early 2023 on the larger timescales. Every dip was a buy, the bulls maintained it, maintained the parabolic trend, and then you had this big rejection candle last week, and if you look at your 20 EMA, it's pointed up, right? This yellow line, it's pointed up above a 45-degree angle, which means we have momentum on the weekly timescale. Right? EMAs are pointed up, momentum's up. We have that big rejection weekly, the last week, and we broke the wick high of that rejection. A lot of short positions were in that wick and they were squeezed. And in the Patreon Discord, we discussed the target for that wick to wick of that candle, a 1 to 1.5. So we haven't quite reached the target yet, but we got really, really close, right? If you were trading this setup, you'd probably be raising your stops halfway up, something like that, be in the profit zone. But this breakout, in theory, if we were going to play the full trap liquidity short squeeze, we would go up to about 82,700. And what does that mean? That means Bitcoin could pull back a little bit and then bounce again to a slightly higher high, and then pull back again, retest much lower levels than you expect, and then continue. That's the type of stuff that parabolic trends are made of. Heavy, heavy volatility, dipping when you sort of don't think you're going to dip, right? The price might pull back a little bit short term, hit that higher high, and then flush people out before running again. That's the action you got to expect in a parabolic trend. That's how it goes here. On the weekly, the MACD is still pointed up. The momentum is still to the upside on the weekly MACD. And the weekly RSI breakout that we discussed a few months ago, that's obviously played out. We've broken the weekly RSI downtrend, which means we're likely going to be heading in a general up direction for the next 6 months, maybe even a year, depending on how it goes. So MACD RSI on the weekly looks good to me. The daily MACD is also still saying that the bulls are maintaining momentum, and the daily RSI is now in the overbought zone. Now, a lot of people heavily misunderstand the RSI and how Bitcoin behaves when it's overbought. Bitcoin entering the overbought zone is not necessarily a bad sign. The word overbought can be misleading. If you go back in time and you look at these runs here after the ETF was approved, we pulled back and then ran again. And when Bitcoin's daily RSI entered the overbought zone right there, that was like the start. We were at 46,000 and we went all the way to 74 after entering overbought. So sometimes when you're trending overbought is a signal that this is about to go up a lot more. October, we hit the overbought zone. After entering overbought, the price goes from 28,000 all the way up to 49. Now, when the market is sideways, the overbought zone is, an area to be cautious, right? If you're going sideways and you're overbought, well, you might want to be cautious there. Being overbought in the daily is not necessarily a bad sign in a trending market. It could be the beginning of a run. But of course, nothing's guaranteed either. Bitcoin may be looking to, hit the trap liquidity short squeeze target, give us some volatility and then continue to trend up after seeing slightly higher levels and slightly lower levels, general volatility, continue the trend. That's the type of stuff that I would expect from Bitcoin at this point. I believe it's unlikely that Bitcoin would test back below the previous all-time high. I don't think the market is going to want to give everybody such a discount at this point because now there's a lot of confidence in markets, in the stock market and in crypto with Trump coming into office. I doubt that we're going to see the market give people a nice dip by opportunity below the previous 69,000. So I would say that it's unlikely that we go back below that for the rest of the cycle. It's kind of a bold claim, but I don't think we're going to be down there for very long if we do pull back. And, if you're looking at the MACD, whenever we get across, usually it lasts on the weekly for quite a while, multiple months. So we're getting that now. Bitcoin is likely going to continue this trend and play out some parabolic structure. And remember, parabolas go up faster than you expect, and they also have much bigger dips in between the runs than you would expect. People did not think we were going to be at 80,000 today. And I'm willing to bet, once we see some sort of correction, again, Bitcoin price might go higher first, but once we see some kind of correction from a higher level, people will not be expecting a move like that from, just crazy volatility. That is how parabolic trends usually play out. So I'm bullish. In my opinion, the direction is up despite all this short-term noise that we're talking about. I am bullish on this market, and I do think we're going to be hitting, 90 to 91,000 going into the new year. And then we'll see about those higher targets that we discussed in the beginning of the video. If you guys want more insights into what I'm doing, how I'm trading the market on a daily basis, charts, trends, altcoins, all that stuff, it's available in my Patreon Discord community. You can only get in my Discord by becoming a Patreon member. Use that link below to sign up for Patreon today. I'll see you guys in the next one.